Welcome back to PLG Spotlight. I'm Matt Gordon. Today we're out here at Bernheim Forest, and I'll tell you, it is one gorgeous day here at Bernheim. If you've never been out here, you have got to make the trip. It's right outside of Bardstown on your way to Louisville. If you don't believe me, here, why don't you take a look?
I am Whitney Wurzel, and I serve as the Director of Education here at Bernheim Forest, which means naturally I get to have a lot of fun here on the job. A major part of my work consists of working behind the scenes with my education team and a strong core of our volunteer naturalists to offer a variety of programs, activities, and events to our annual visitation of nearly 3,000 visitors a year. So it's our job to offer these unique experiences that help connect people with nature in creative ways.
So how long have you been in here?
I have been at Bernheim for 7 years now. Although I grew up in the Claremont area, so I have been visiting Bernheim as long as I can remember. After high school, I left Kentucky, and as a young professional, I got my start with the National Park Service. And even in working in national parks, that I came to realize that there was no place like home when it came to the Kentucky landscape of rolling hills, our green trees, the fall colors that we get, that really it was a unique place.
So education-wise, what would you say is the biggest, most important event you guys hold each year?
Oh boy, it's been going on for over 20 years, our Color Fest event. And it's a 2-day event that is one that's been cherished for so long. That we make sure to provide unique opportunities for visitors to connect with nature. And the very basic component of education is observing and experimenting.
I've been here quite a few times, and I can tell that the education is really strong here. Like, it's really pushed on an everyday basis. Now, I know on the weekends you guys do the discovery stations. Can you talk a little bit more about that and the volunteers that are involved?
Yes. One of our big sort of family programs, it's what we call Eco Kids, and the Eco stands for Every Child Outside, which of course is the big idea behind all of that. And Eco Kids Discovery Days, they take place the first and third Saturday of every month. And really, each Discovery Day has 3 parts. That one part is an on-your-own challenge. It's available to families from 9 to 5. That it's a self-guided adventure. It just gives you something to do as a family on your own with a little guidance. Now, from 1 to 4, each of those afternoons, our volunteer naturalists offer what you mentioned, the discovery stations. And these are sort of tabletop stations that feature everything from wildlife to plants, ecology, and art that provide memorable experiences for families. For instance, we have a frog man, snake man, butterfly lady, and you should just see the delight, especially in children's faces, when they get to interact with not only nature, but grown adults who are so enthusiastic and so passionate. We also offer a free guided hike from 2 to 3 o'clock. And all of our hikes, they take routes that are stroller friendly, so they are welcome to families and, again, kids of all ages.
So what would you say personally is your favorite part of Bernheim?
I have to be honest, if I get to go out and explore on my own, the first place I would head toward would be one of our creeks. I absolutely love our creek system, our watershed, the health of our water ecosystems, and a big part of our education programming is school field trips, pre-K through 12. And among those, my favorite field trips are the ones where we get to go to the creeks here at Bernheim.
So you just mentioned the field trips.
Yes.
Like, how many field trips do you guys do on a regular basis here?
Let's see. Here at Bernheim, our major field trip seasons tend to fall during the spring months and the fall months, which is pretty understandable. You've got the spring plants and the fall colors. And we also have a fair number of field trips during the summer that we work with schools that offer summer enrichment programs, YMCA, clubs, other organizations. And altogether, annually, we serve between 6,000 and 7,000 students here at Bernheim. We love hosting our local students at Bernheim because this is their forest, this is their backyard, it's their watershed. We want them to learn to appreciate it and to enjoy it from a young age.
Can you tell me a little bit more about one of the things that really interests me is the night event?
Yes, oh boy.
Which I'm dying to come and attend. I haven't done it yet,
yes.
but I'm dying to.
Our night programs are really something that make us stand out. And our night program options are the best during summer just because we are able to offer a variety of programs. Our hours, they run longer, but we offer multiple options. Every month we offer a full moon hike, which as described takes place by the light of the full moon around Lake Nevin. So that's really quite a treat. We also have a number of programs that focus more on the astronomy. So we have Star Stories evenings, which not only do you do observations, with telescopes, you also learn about the constellations and the mythology. So again, it's that collision of sort of science and imagination in one program. We offer quarter moon hikes, and one that has become increasingly more popular is our Creatures of the Night program. And this is where we focus on nocturnal animals as well as those animals that come out during the twilight. I know in June we have one focusing on fireflies. I encourage everybody to check out the program calendar and get on one of our night programs. You will be very pleased. This summer, that a number of our normal programs, the usual offerings continue, whether that's our Eco Kids Discovery Days, our night programs. We also offer monthly Pollywog play parties, which are for kids 5 and under, first Saturday of every month. We have some other programs that are taking place. During the month of June, we're celebrating National Pollinator Week. So we're offering a couple of pollinator awareness hikes, which of course would be about flowers and our pollinators. We're offering one of our wild edibles of summer. So one of our staff goes into the field to collect wild edibles and then creates food that out of plants that we think of as weeds often. Dandelions, for instance, can be turned into delicious treats. So that's really a unique sort of a program. We're also gearing up for the solar eclipse in August that we're in a spot. Bernheim's a little out of the range to see the total eclipse, but we're going to have it's still going to be optimal viewing. So we're going to have activities the day of leading up to the eclipse viewing, and then thereafter, including sun printing. We're going to do sun tea. And if we've got a group, we're going to go on a hike to enjoy the sun's warm rays. So we're really looking forward to that.
Hi, I'm Renee Hutchison. I'm the nursery manager at Bernheim Arboretum, and we are here in the Edible Garden. This is its 3rd year being open, and the garden plays a lot of roles at Bernheim. Firstly, food production for our cafe. It's a huge source of education for us, both within horticulture and the education department. And also it's a way to really show people how to have regenerative design instead of just sustainable design. This is the main arbor for the edible garden, and we're growing some vines, some hardy kiwi vines. And this is also just a sweep of herbs and flowering plants. So the important thing to keep in mind is that the edible garden is not just edibles for humans. We're also trying to provide edibles for pollinators. One of the biggest goals of this garden is to be independent of any sort of city water usage. All of our water is collected off of the walkways within the edible garden and the research center that butts up to the edible garden. So horticulture uses the edible garden more for adult education. These are things that the homeowner can do. We've had classes on composting, extending the fall garden into winter. We're working on some projects so that we're getting infrastructure in for our winter landscape. This past winter we had vegetables coming out of the garden all winter long. And we did have a mild season, but we're working on adding in the infrastructure so that even in the coldest winter we've got vegetables going to the cafe. This is a landscape that's actually changing right now. We're adding in a lot more color, kind of as a sweep to welcome you into the garden, but mostly food for pollinators. We're really looking to feed the bees and the butterflies. So in the garden beds right now, all of these beds were built using recycled lumber. This was a gray field area to begin with, meaning that it was just mowed lawn, and it wasn't a diverse habitat, to say the least. The insect diversity has jumped, I think, 100-fold. The amount of habitat that's been created back here is enormous. Another big thing that we've been working on is edible flowers, so that when the cafe has salads and soups, that they can use garnishes that are edible from the garden as well.
Dr. Mark Warms. I'm the Executive Director at Bernheim Arboretum and Research Forest. Isaac Wolf Bernheim was a visionary. He learned that nature was an equalizer. And I think he may have learned that because he came over to the United States as an 18-year-old immigrant from Germany. And he literally sold notions, goods, on his back, door to door up in New England. He made his way down to Kentucky to meet up with an uncle and then his brother. And like every great Kentuckian, he had a dream, and that dream was to work hard and make it big in the United States. And so what did he do? Well, he and his brother started moving whiskey barrels around. And then they saved up and bought a bigger horse and wagon, and they started moving full whiskey barrels around. And then they decided that the only way to really make big money was to produce the bourbon itself. And so they bought an old distillery and went into business. And so Isaac Wolf Bernheim started the I.W. Harper brand of bourbon. And that quickly became a very popular bourbon, but uniquely, he was one of the first to market bourbon beyond Kentucky. It used to be just a local drink, but he took it beyond Kentucky, in fact, took it international. And the I.W. Harper brand became one of the best-selling bourbons in Japan, for example. So at the age of 65, having lived a great life, he decided that he wanted to give back to the people of Kentucky. And so he bought 12,500 acres of land down here, way far away from Louisville, which is now only a 20-minute drive, by the way. But he bought 12,500 acres of farmed and logged and overgrazed, decrepit land. But the vision was that nature would restore itself. The vision was that people would come to appreciate the beauty of these knobs. The vision was that he would work with the Olmsted design firm and build a place that attracted Kentuckians and those people beyond Kentucky forever. And so he started and endowed the Isaac W. Bernheim Foundation. We then started the Bernheim Arboretum and Research Forest, and that didn't open to the public until 1950. And at that point, it was a place where people could come and picnic and walk and enjoy the lakes and the nature around them. He believed that nature was an equalizer and that all people, regardless of race, creed, or economic status, would be welcome here. And to this day, we practice that. And that was a statement in 1929. So he really understood where the world was going and wanted to make it a better place. So today, Bernheim Arboretum and Research Forest is dedicated to connecting people with nature. And we do that in so many ways. We have arts programs and nature-based education programs. We have public events that are fun and funky, some of them during the days and some of them in the evenings. We have all kinds of educational programs, from gardening to how to build wetlands in some cases. We also conduct research, ecological research, and restore wildlife habitats. What makes Bernheim unique is we wear all of these hats on this wonderful footprint, which has now grown to over 15,625 acres. That's 24 square miles of land. It's larger than the island of Manhattan in New York, but instead of having millions of people, we have millions of trees. And so we're dedicated to getting people outdoors, whether you're in a stroller or you're walking with a walker. We want you out here at Bernheim because nature is part of a vibrant life. And we think that everybody wants to learn and enjoy nature through every phase of life. And whether you want to come out and read a book, or whether you want to come out and participate with other people looking at a full moon hike, there's always something for you to do. What makes Bernheim unique to me is that I have the joy of being out in nature every day. Pretty much every day I take a walk somewhere. Sometimes it's 10 minutes, sometimes it's for an hour and a half. But I discover the incredible birds that are here. We have the sexiest birds in Kentucky are right here at Bernheim. We have incredible amphibians, from frogs and toads to salamanders. We have wonderful mammals. So, you know, these are things that make Bernheim unique. Because of the size and quality of our forests, we're protecting air and water and land and wildlife for future generations. And to me, that's just a big honor and a big responsibility, and it makes us unique.
Bernheim is definitely one of my favorite places to come around Bardstown. And if you ever get the opportunity, I highly suggest you make it out here. Once again, I'm Matt Gordon, and this is PLG Spotlight. I'll see you next time.